Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the ninth episode of the Mthunzi Mvubu Virtual Hangouts. These hangouts are sponsored by the Department of Arts, Sports, and Culture. Um, this evening, I have the pleasure of hosting one of my brothers, saxophone player, composer, band leader, Mr. Linda Sikhakhane. Yo, Skeg, kunjani?
Yo, Babu Mvubu, ngiyaphila unjani?
Hey, ngiyakuvula nje. It's good to have you
Oh
here,
man.
man.
Oh man, thank you for the invite, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. No, man, I just thought, man, we don't have backstages and after gig hangs to catch up. So, rather do it
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
way.
Yeah,
Even though
it
it's
was
not the
quite
same
interesting.
as, yeah.
It was quite interesting when I logged in because it says you are at the backstage, so just wait for the host to
Oh,
let you
yeah.
in. So
Oh, yeah,
it's like I'm in
ironically,
the
yeah.
green room. Yeah, ironically, yeah.
Hey, man, but as Brad Jonas Kwangwa said, man, it's a contemporary inconvenience.
Inconvenience.
Temporary,
Yeah,
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 temporary
yeah, yeah,
inconvenience.
yeah.
How has
Yeah.
this time been for you, my brother?
Man, it's been different, I must say, but we just trying alternative ways of understanding this new world. So it's
Yeah.
for me, it has just been a time of learning new ways of navigating this life.
No, I hear you, man. And
Yeah.
I've seen you've done a couple of like online performances. I'm still kind of wrapping my head around me around those. Although I did one with
Oh yeah.
Bukani. How was that
Yes.
experience?
Man, it was great, just to think that the first one that I played was with Urban Sessions, the online performances that are curated by Brother Emerick. And
Oh yes, yes.
one hadn't played in such a long time. And it was just exciting to meet with the cats and and play together. And at that time there were so many restrictions, so we could only play trio. So I just had to think about a trio and just meditate on it
Oh,
because I wasn't expecting on playing trio anytime soon. But
oh yeah.
yeah. But as I was saying, is that well, this time is just the right time to learn new ways of doing things. And as Babu in Shorter said this other day, he said this pandemic is here to teach us something. And
Eish.
there are so many lessons in this lifetime.
No, true. I guess for that we just have to dig deeper
Yeah,
if we
yeah,
have the the luxury to do so,
yes,
as some
yes.
don't have that luxury, you know.
Ish.
But man,
Yeah.
talking about playing for a long time before you did those online performances, have you made how has it been like making time for your horn,
Like
checking,
making time for my
practicing?
horn, like during this are you
Yeah, during this time.
oh during this time. Man, to be honest, before the lockdown, I was like, okay, this is just the perfect time for me to just unpack some stuff and pay more attention to my horn. But I haven't really, digged into it that much,
Oh yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
no,
but I've been
no.
trying. But I've been trying, man. I've been trying. It's just that one needs so much inspiration, in order to just jump into the horn. But I haven't really practiced much. But I've been listening. You know, I've been listening to a lot of music and also reflecting on some previous stuff.
Yeah. No, man. Talking about inspiration is a tough one. On the first days of the lockdown, I was like, man, this is the time to work. The
Yeah, yeah,
first week,
yeah, yeah.
I went in strong, then slowly phased it out. Then you watch the news, then you see more negative. But how have you found? How have you been able to find inspiration just to keep afloat spiritually?
Man, friendships, I would say friendships and family
Ooh,
and just community, you know.
yeah,
I think that is one thing that I've come to realize, that is that it's really important to have a community, you know. And I've been getting a lot of inspiration by just picking up a call and, you know, speaking to a friend, speaking to family, and, you know, and also seeing some cats like really reimagine things on social media and how they present themselves and how they present, you know, their artwork and stuff. Like, you know, even with this platform, this is such a great initiative, you know. And this this itself is an inspiration, you know. So I've been inspired
yeah.
by how the community has really jumped in and, you know, explored alternative ways of, you know, moving forward.
No, 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 that's true, man. Now,
Yeah.
the clip I opened up with was one of your tunes from your debut album,
Yes, yes.
Two Sides, One Mirror. I mean,
Two
I
sides
dig
on
that
mirror.
title. I dig the title, man, because it's like open. It leaves the reader or the listener to interpret for themselves what that means. What did you mean by that? Two sides, one mirror.
Man, to be honest, you know, at first I was referring to like a literal mirror, because at home, at my parents' bedroom, in my parents' bedroom, I used to like
Yeah.
practice there and just, you know, look at the mirror and, you know, play the saxophone. But, you know, as I grow, I come to understand that this title has like multiple ways of really looking at it. And lately I've been thinking about the monosectional world, where where we have where we have a reflection of ourselves or our ancestors as just a reflection that is always, you know, just beside
Mm.
us. And, you know, I mean, there's just a lot of ways of
Oof.
looking at it. But
Not
at the
true.
same time, I look at this piece of work as like something to reflect on as I, you know, as I journey on, you know.
Ooh, no, I must check that out. I must check that out. And how was the process, I mean, like of getting together that record, getting the music, and getting the holistic sound of that record? Did you like have the tunes before, or
Yeah.
you specifically wrote for this album?
No, I had the tunes before, so I was just collecting from you know, from a bag. You know, some of, especially
Okay.
this song that just played is Closer to the Heart. It's a song that I received when I was in varsity, I think around 2011, you know.
Oh,
And
okay, okay.
you know, when I first played the song, I invited Sakile Simani, you know, in the practice block. I was like, "Hey man, here's this song." And, you
Ah,
know,
I see, I see.
but then, you know, when I planning for the recording, I had invited Big Brother Rutuzo Makatini to help me, you know, like
Oh,
put
yes.
everything together. And, you know, he's the producer of the record. And, you know, when we got in studio, he like saw the bigger picture and how the music can be mapped, you know. So he contributed so much. And also with the brothers, you know, they just dedicated themselves into the music. But the bigger picture was seen by the producer in how we can really look at these songs and how we can present the work as just, you know, this holistic body of work, as you mentioned.
How did you imagine that at first, going into like recording this album in terms of producer? Did you feel that you need a producer?
Man, I felt that I needed a producer, you know. In fact, I thought I
Yeah.
wasn't even ready to go and record this album. But, you know, when I was planning to go and study in the US, you know, I remember playing this corporate gig with Makatini, and Makatini was like, "Man, before you leave, you need to document something so that you have something in your bag to show that, you know, this is what I have
Oh,
from South
yeah,
Africa."
yeah.
and I was like, yo, bro, man, please help me out, you know? And I had to think about the personnel. And, you know, the first person that I called when I thought of the personnel was Sakile Simani. You know, I was like, yo, Simani.
Of course, man.
So,
Yeah,
so this
yeah.
is the band. And so what do you think? And Simani was like, yeah. And then I called Makatini, yo, Mr. Producer, this is the personnel.
Yeah,
What do you think?
yeah.
He said, man, this is perfect. And, you know, it was just a jam in studio. It was really a good time.
No, why I'm asking that about the producer thing is because I asked Africa Mkhize to produce my record. But I
Yeah.
asked him, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I was like, nah, I don't really need a producer. But because he had something that I needed, that's why I asked him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But on the first day, I realized that, man, you really need like a second pair of eyes and ears to really
Yeah.
guide
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
pro-
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
process.
No, man,
So
I
yeah,
just believe in having a producer in studio because I think a producer helps in terms of how we can imagine just the whole work, you know, as like it's in its whole totality, you know,
yeah,
and with a person like Makatini who has so many references, you know, when we pull up a song, you know, he can tell you that, okay, let's think about Pharaoh Sanders in this song, you know, maybe we can use that kind of approach. And it really helped a lot, you know, to have in studio.
no, true, man. Now let's
Mm.
take it back a little bit. One of your first teachers was the late Dr. Brian Tusi,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
who inspired you to switch to the saxophone from the clarinet, and
From
how
the
was that
clarinet.
process?
Okay. So Babu Brian Susi started this community center in Umlazi, you know, which is called Siakula Music Center.
Yeah.
So there were so many young players there, and you know there was this really amazing saxophone player by the name of Pilani Biela, you know, and
Okay.
I saw him performing. I think around about 2003, and he played.
Yeah.
So they were playing Flowers of the Nation, and he played
Okay.
the yeah, yeah, and he played the saxophone solo that was played by Babu Mselego on the actual recording. And man,
Oh,
I was really
oh,
inspired. I was like, okay, well, you know, I think I want to play like that cat, and you know, that's
I
how I
see.
was. You know, that's how I was inspired to pick up the saxophone.
Was that your first encounter with this is jazz, or is this jazz?
I would say so. I would say so. Yeah, that was my first encounter.
Hey, but man, I can't imagine. How was the switch from, because you started like classically before the saxophone.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
was like switching like to the other? Was it easy?
Man, because I wanted it so much, I didn't even think about the process. You know, I just jumped in.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
jumped in.
Imagine.
But you know, before playing the saxophone, I was already like fiddling around with just improvising on the clarinet. You know, I
Ah,
remember we had this jazz band with the cats, Osenzo and you know Scabiela. We used to
yeah,
play wedding
yeah.
gigs, and man, with my clarinets, because you know at some gigs we were not even amplified, and you know
Oh
I was just
no.
playing solos and people wouldn't hear what I'm doing.
Oh man,
So I
that's
just
a
felt like,
nightmare.
no man, I need to play, you know, like a bigger baby now, you know, because this is some real music.
Yeah. So who was your saxophone tutor? Did you have a saxophone tutor who like sat you down and showed you some stuff, or the clarinet history helped?
The mostly the clarinet history helped, you know, it helped a lot because man, my switch was just picking up the saxophone and trying to figure things out. But I would get, you know, help from people like Vugani Cele, who was already,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So Vugani Cele was already in Pumalanga, but when he came down to Durban, he would, you know, help me so much. And, you know,
Oh, okay. Oh
yeah.
man. I remember when I started, I was a piano player. So
Yeah, yeah.
how I got into saxophone, I don't know if I told you the story. My switch from piano.
No, I don't remember. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
so there was this cat at school, man. He used to play scales very fast on the saxophone, like chromatical.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
ben bekayingwenya. It's like, hey, check out the shoe, man. Yo.
Yeah, yeah,
So I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
man, I can do that as well. But the minute I got to the saxophone, I found out it's not that easy.
Well, that's not the case.
So first day I went to him, he showed me, like a scale, C major. After some few days, I went back, showed me the second one. And the third day, he was like, hey, I not, I no. I told it now. So that's where the piano that's where the piano came in handy, like sounds,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
transcribing my ear with the.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so that was how I switched.
Mm,
So
mm.
is there an experience that made you say like, hey man, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life? Or it was like that from the first go,
I think there was a
like
time where I
career
just
wise?
decided. I think there was a time where I just decided that no, this is it. Because one was lucky to have Ubabtusi, because he invited me when I was 16 to play in his band, and just the whole
Okay.
experience was really inspiring. And we would play some gigs at Rainbow in Pinetown, Rainbow Restaurant in Pinetown, and Umambusi Mhlongo would be there, Ubaba Madala Kunene would be
Wow.
there, and just the whole just the whole energy in
Yeah.
those spaces was really inspiring, and was like, no, this is the life that I'd like to live.
Wow. No, that's a dream,
But
man.
of course, it wasn't so easy, like convincing my parents that uh, I just want to study music and I'll take this as my career, because they had no experience of that before. but
Oh yeah.
but luckily Ubabtusi, really helped in, like, just just
That
telling them that there are opportunities in the industry, and one can explore certain things, just to make a living. And they they
yeah,
they
yeah.
and they believed in whatever I wanted, and they were supportive.
Oh, that's great, man.
Mm.
And in 2016, you won the Samro Overseas Scholarship and you enrolled at the new school in New York. How was
Yeah,
the experience there? And was it what you envisioned and wished for during your experience there?
man, yeah, that experience was one of the best experience that I've ever lived in my life.
Yeah, and I can imagine, man. And you got to spend time, about Billy Harper.
Yeah, yeah, man, that was. Do you know, man? I was actually speaking to Makasini the other day, just talking about how the things that we wish for can really happen. If we really meditate on something, there's a huge possibility for that thing to manifest. Cause
No, true.
because I think a year, maybe around 2016 or 2015, Makatini had introduced me to the music of Master
Oh,
Billy
yeah.
Harper.
Oof.
And man, I was like, at some point, I need to go to New York and just sit down with Babu Harper and just be around him and learn so much from him. Only one never knew that this opportunity would come, and it was just
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
just amazing. It was just amazing, even how it was set up at school. I had not planned, um to play in in his ensemble. But when I got to school, I was just told that, okay, so this is your first ensemble with Master Billy
Oh,
Harper, and I was like,
oh man.
wow, man. When we got into that room, he just pulled out charts and we played his music. It was like,
Oh,
man, just the
no,
best
man.
experience.
Hey, Zolak is in the house, man. Yeah, yo, Zwe.
Yo, Father Zay.
And were you supposed to be there by now in New York, or it was planned that you're gonna come back?
Well, I was planning to go back in summer.
I see.
Yeah. So I was planning to go back maybe in June, around June or July, but things turned out this way.
Yeah. And man,
Yeah.
having spent some time there, how's the scene there? How is it getting like work? Is it how challenging or easy is it?
Man.
Yeah.
Well, that's a tricky question. It's a tricky question because if you speak about like getting work in New York, you can just create work for yourself if you want to. You can just go to the subway and bask and and earn some money. But man,
Okay.
the scene has so many cats,
I
and I
can
think
imagine.
what counts the most is just originality, because merit is just the standard level that if you're in New York and you want to get a gig, you must play,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now
And I
that you
think,
say that, it's not like this side is like, hey, who can we get on out?
oh
It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
maybe
yeah, yeah.
it's like maybe
No,
like
man,
four
there's
or
so many
three
players.
options.
There are so many players, because I remember, there was a time where I would go to Smalls Jazz Club every night, just for jam sessions, you
Yeah.
know, and then having been there for like 3 or 4 weeks, I thought, I've seen everyone. But then the next night, this tenor player pulls up, and I'm like, who's this cat?
Oh man. Oh man.
Yeah, man. So it's there's just a lot. There's just a lot of great musicians, and a lot of venues as well. So
Yeah. And how are you looking at your time between SA and the States? Is it going to be more that side or this side in the future?
I think more this side. I would like to. Of course, the bridge is so important. I'd like to, to sort of travel between South Africa and New York. But for comfortability's sake, I think I'm more comfortable in South Africa in terms of, just, getting myself my safe space, and, just for my head space, because New York, the vibration is so high, and sometimes you just need,
Yeah.
just that head space,
Okay. No, I hear you, man. I'm just gonna
Mm.
play a short clip here, and I'll ask you to comment after it. We'll talk about it after.
Okay, cool.
Sure. Yeah, man.
Yo.
Now that's one of the songs you contributed to this project. You are really heavily involved in
Oh
Luyanda
yes,
Madope
yes,
and H3. But
yes,
I'd
yes,
like you to
yes.
talk about the brothers, like the relationship you have, like how you met and how you got to form H3 and later
Okay.
Luyanda Madope.
All right. Man, I met Senzo at Siakula Music Center in 2003, and we became the best of buddies. We were like together all the time. And in 2010, Ustepe moved to Durban to study at the University of KwaZulu Natal, and I was introduced to him by his uncle, Babu Kulegan Bengu, who
Okay,
was yeah who is also my mentor, who's the director of Siakula Music Center. And then Senzo and I were like, hey man, here's a trumpet player, we need to play with him, because we had formed a band, Siakula jazz band, with Senzo, Skabiela, Sihlistole, and then later joined by Uste Pengu. But then
I
Uste
see.
moved to Johannesburg in 2012. And Usenzo was also planning to move to Joburg. And when Senzo told me that he's moving to Joburg in 2013 to live with
Yeah.
Uste, I was like, man, I'm definitely moving to Joburg as well, because I had
Oh
planned to
man.
stay one more year in Durban and then move in 2014. But when Senzo decided that
Okay.
he's moving to Joburg, I was like, hey man, I'm just tagging along. And we stayed at Four Slow Auguste, which was really a great time. So we were friends before we even thought about just forming a horn section.
I
And then
see. I see.
again, brother Nduduzo Makatini was like, yo, you guys should think about this thing, because you guys live together and you guys are horn players, and we need horn players in Johannesburg, horn players that are a group already, and
No,
he
true.
was like, man, here's the name H3. And he was supposed to play a gig, I think at Nikki's in 2013 or
Okay.
2014. And he told us, Sneaky, do you know what's Sneaky? Maybe these guys should play the gig, you know, and I'll and
I
I'll just
see.
step
I
in.
see.
I'll just step in as a piano player. And that's how the group was actually introduced, to the public.
Oh man,
And then
yeah,
later,
that's
just
beautiful.
and then later we met up with a lot of people in the scene, including you, of course. But I had met you back in Durban, some years ago, and we
Yeah.
just met a
Hey,
lot of
sorry,
people in.
I'm getting old. I can't remember, but it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and then
Madope.
we met Matope. Okay, so Matope, I had met him in Durban as well, because
I see.
I've been seeing his name on sleeves, man. Like I
Yeah.
think I think I had seen his name on like 3 album sleeves. And when I met him in Durban, I think around about was it 2011, or between 2011 and 2012, he was at the Jazzy Rainbow. And
Okay.
I think Usis Mamsi introduced us, and I was like, oh, so this is the Matope that I've been seeing on sleeves. And that's how we met. And when we moved to Joburg, it was just a matter of, hey bro, we are here in Joburg, and let's meet. And I remember this other time Matope had invited us to his home, and we started playing, and he was like, do you know what, guys, let's just form a group, and let's call it
Wow.
Connecting
Wow.
Generations. And that's how the group was formed.
Can you talk about what the album pays tribute to, and what's the intention about this record?
Okay, so the album pays tribute to actually a collective. I'd say a collective, because it sort of plays a role of being a bridge between generations. So that's why Brother Madope decided to call it Connecting Generations. Because if you notice in the records, we play songs like songs from our elders, but interpreted in a very different way or in a sort of modern way. And also the music is being played by a different generation, by a later generation. So that's like connecting two generations and reimagining songs, you know, that
Yeah,
are from the
yeah.
past, and how we can reimagine these songs uh, in in whichever way that we navigate music today.
No, I hear you, man. And you know, um, listening to you guys, H3, you can really tell Uguti, it's not just about the music. It's really starts with the social. It started with the social. So I
Yeah,
can feel what Katili felt. It really hit him hard. He couldn't
yeah,
deny
yeah.
it. And there's a question here from
Yo, Mvubu, are you still there? Sorry about that. I think we just lost Mvubu.
sorry about that, man. Got cut off.
Cishe cishe ngathi umfundisi ulindwa ngengoma, you know. Support.
Did you get that question?
No, 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 no. I didn't get it.
Oh, oh yeah, yeah. Mfowethu uthi, would you consider recording a solo sex project, and how would you go about it?
Yeah, at some point I would consider it. You know, I just need to be in the right space for it, you know. But I would I would probably go to like a church, or just an
Mm,
open space, or like an open hall, and and just jump in. And
yeah, yeah. Amen. I can't imagine that right now. I'll have to get multiple packs for
Ish,
for that.
man, it's a tough one. Do lately I've been trying to explore just the thing of collaborating with space. I've been I've
Mm,
been I've
mm.
been I've been taking some videos with our brother who Ubabu Lungelo Dambo. You know,
Ah, okay, okay.
yeah, yeah. We had this session. We went to a mountain, and I started playing solo saxophone. But now, one thing that I realized is that I don't I don't breathe enough, because just the thought of being alone, I tend to overplay,
Ah, I see. I see. Rather than
I tend to
give the
overplay.
space
So
its own time as well.
give the space its own time. So I've been just thinking about that, how one can imagine like a collaboration with space, as opposed to just going in there and playing saxophone.
Yeah, no, silence is a scary thing, man. That's
Yeah,
why,
yeah.
you know.
Silence is louder
Others,
than sound.
yeah, that's why others can't really cope with really being locked down and just sitting and just
Ish,
doing
man.
nothing,
Yeah, yeah.
stillness. And he asks again, any upcoming projects that people should look out for.
Yeah, yeah. There's something coming up pretty soon, maybe in a month or two. I just don't have the actual date as yet. I recorded an album in New York, which was recorded live, and I took it back home, and did some work on it with like adding elements like percussions and voices. So I'm actually working on that release, and people should keep their ears on the ground. I'll share some information regarding that pretty soon.
Ah, okay. What's the setup? What's the band like? What's the direction?
So the band, man, this one is pretty open because when we recorded it live, we had a sextet, but in certain songs it's a quartet, certain songs quintets, certain songs a sextet, and then the elements that we added were the harp, we added two percussion players, and we
Wow.
added voices.
Wow. Okay. Okay. No,
Yeah.
man. I'm looking forward to that, man.
Yeah, man.
So what you working on right now on the horn? Anything
On the horn,
specific?
man, there's nothing specific, but I've been just trying to work on sound, on
Mm.
how one can really project sound, you know and I really I recently found a place just in my complex, just an open space where I can, it's like practicing in the field, because there's one thing that I that I learned from Master Billy Harp, because I had a question, Babu Harp, how do you project such a big sound? And he told me that he used to practice in the fields, where
Yeah.
you know where the sound doesn't really come back to him, so you just project. And I've been working on that, so I've started practicing in the fields, just trying to project sound.
Oh no, I saw one of your clips on your IG, and
Yeah.
I've been seeing you're doing like a collage of those short
Oh
clips,
yeah.
and you
Yeah.
titled them
Yeah.
"Open Dialogue."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the name of the album, An Open Dialogue.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. 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 But the dialogue is pretty open. It's like an ongoing dialogue.
Uh, Deep end. I'm looking forward to that. My brother, man. I'd like to thank you for coming on and sharing your story with the
Ah,
people.
man, thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you so much for contributing so like immensely in the songbook of South Africa. We really look up to you, and we are also looking forward to your record, man.
Man, thank you, thank you. Ngicela nkonzo mfo.
Okay, sisibone.
Ooh, thank you for that, Mfowethu.
Kubonga mina Baba Mvubu.
And I must say, man, I've seen you and heard you, taking on this path, and I'm happy that we have more seekers, not of billboards or spotlights, because you can always take those down. So
Man,
please keep on digging.
man, Mvubu, thank you so much. Because I mean, you've seen me on my, like on my very early days, and you are one person that I really look up to, and you are so generous to, to like be like a person that that is sort of like holding a lamp. Because I remember when Makatini invited me to play in his group, the main objective was for me to be inspired by this alto player. And thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Bonga thini. Mfowethu, keep safe. I trust I'll see you soon, man, when this dies
Bro.
down.
Yeah, bro. Much love, man. Thank you.
Sure. Cheers. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. This coming Sunday, I'll be doing my 10th and final hang with my big brother, Africa Mkhize. And I trust you all have a good night.